every single day, in tens of thousands of churches, something happens that should stop the world in its tracks. Heaven bends down, angels fall silent and tremble. And Christ himself, the same Jesus who bled on Calvary, becomes present on a small altar in front of ordinary people who are often checking their watches. What if you knew, truly knew, what was happening in front of you at Mass? Today, we lift the veil. In the 14th century, a holy woman named Bridget of Sweden knelt in prayer one quiet afternoon. She had attended Mass her whole life, yet, like so many of us, she had never truly understood what she was witnessing. Suddenly, a light surrounded her, and Christ himself appeared, not as paintings show him, but glorious, radiant with love, and yet his eyes carried an immense sorrow that pierced her soul. Jesus spoke to her with tenderness. Today I will reveal to you the most hidden treasure, the most despised jewel, the Holy Mass. Bridget did not yet understand. She had knelt at countless Masses without grasping the mystery before her. Then Christ explained plainly, in every Mass I am truly present, not symbolically, not as a figure, but with my whole body, blood, soul, and divinity. I myself am there. In that instant, Bridget's soul was caught up into a vision. She saw an altar surrounded by countless angels, not standing, not singing, but prostrate, their faces touching the ground, their wings folded, their eyes closed in adoration. She understood at once they were seeing what human eyes cannot see. And she, who had assisted at Mass so many times, without realizing it, began to weep. Then Bridget saw something that tore at her heart. A church, a Mass, the priest lifting his hands, and Jesus himself descending from heaven in glory toward the altar. But the faithful were not watching. One yawned, another whispered, another scratched his head distracted. And in the middle of them all, Jesus wept. His voice rose, trembling yet full of majesty, declaring a single Mass outweighs every prayer humanity could ever offer. Bridget was then shown another scene, a soul in purgatory, surrounded by purifying flames, crying out for mercy. And the moment a priest somewhere on earth began the Holy Mass, that imprisoned soul felt every word of the consecration shatter invisible chains. As the chalice was raised, a light brighter than 1,000 suns poured down. And in an instant, that soul was free, rising toward heaven like a spark kindled by the fire of redemption. Later, Bridget saw an angel holding a great scale. On one side rested the sins of the entire world, lies, blasphemies, betrayals, hatred, mountain upon mountain of darkness. On the other, just one must offer with faith. And to her astonishment, that single Mass weighed more than 1,000 mountains of sin. The Lord spoke, "It is the Mass that still sustains the world. It is the Mass that holds back justice itself." Christ then showed Bridget a modern city, choking on chaos, broken homes, wandering youth, violence, indifference. But in the middle of that darkness shone one quiet light, an elderly woman who walked. Every single morning, to a small and nearly empty church, she didn't need to understand everything. She simply believed. And because of her daily Mass, the Lord revealed, the demons could not advance and many souls were spared from hell. Near the end of the revelation, Christ gave Bridget words meant for every one of us across the centuries. Tell everyone to attend Mass as if it were their first, their last, their only Mass, because the world may forget, but heaven never forgets a single Mass celebrated, nor a single soul who unites itself with devotion to my sacrifice. That promise was not just for a medieval saint. It is for you, right now, watching this. Now let's step back and ask the question many people quietly wonder. Why does God require us to attend Mass at all? Couldn't I simply pray on my own, in my room, in my own way? Scripture itself answers this. From Cain and Abel onward, humanity has always needed a shared sacrifice, or common rite not invented by man, but established by God himself as a covenant between heaven and earth. Remember Cain and Abel. Cain offered God whatever was left over, the grain nobody wanted. Abel offered his very best lamb, his finest, most precious gift. God looked with favor on Abel's offering and rejected Cain's. From the very beginning, God was teaching humanity that true worship costs us something real. The Mass is the perfection of that truth, the greatest offering ever made, given freely, for you. Through Abraham, Moses, and the 10 Commandments, God bound himself again and again to his people. But sin had closed heaven's gates, and no animal sacrifice could ever undo that. So God himself became man and offered himself as the perfect, spotless lamb. The Holy Mass is not a memory of that sacrifice. It is the very same sacrifice of Calvary, renewed on the altar, this time without the shedding of blood. There is a beautiful distinction worth remembering. Someone joined by video call is really part of a conversation, but they are not truly there in the room. In the Eucharist, Christ is both really and truly present, body, blood, soul, and divinity. The same Jesus who walked in Galilee, who was scourged, who breathed his last on the cross, stands on that altar. Not a symbol, not a memory. Him. A modern witness named Catalina Rivas once rushed late to Mass, irritated and distracted after a stressful morning. As she stepped into the cathedral, Our Lady spoke to her interior soul, "Pay attention. For today is a day of teaching, and everything you see, you must go and tell the world." What followed was a vision so vivid, so detailed, that it would change how she understood every Mass for the rest of her life. At the offertory, Catalina saw, behind every single person, a luminous figure rising. A guardian angel with a radiant face gliding toward the altar without ever touching the floor. Those whose hearts were truly engaged in the Mass carried golden, jewel-bright plates overflowing with offerings. Others, distracted or merely present out of obligation, carried nothing at all, empty-handed before the altar of God. Then came the consecration. The wall behind the altar seemed to vanish. Catalina saw countless saints and millions of angels filling the space, all falling to their knees the instant the priest pronounced the sacred words. The priest's body changed. Light covered his face so completely she could no longer see him. Only Christ, raising his wounded hands, present, offering himself again for every soul in that church. After communion, Catalina heard Jesus speak with quiet heartbreak, "Not once have you told me you love me. I am the beggar of love. I need you to tell me that you love me." He does not want obedience born of fear, but love freely given. Of everything revealed that day, this is perhaps the most tender and the most piercing. God, the creator of all things, begging his own children simply to love him back. Padre Pio trembled visibly every time he climbed the steps to the altar. When asked why, he answered simply, "Because of what I have to offer." For him, the Mass was not routine. It was Calvary itself made present again. From the sign of the cross, which he called an encounter with Jesus in Gethsemane, to the final blessing. He lived every single moment of the Mass as the literal unfolding of Christ's passion. Padre Pio said that at the elevation, the entire court of heaven kneels in trembling adoration around the altar. Our Lady, every angel, every saint, Saint Francis of Assisi captured it perfectly. Man should tremble. The world should vibrate. The whole of heaven should be deeply moved when the Son of God appears on the altar, in the hands of the priest, and yet so often we barely lift our eyes. There is an old story of a captive priest brought before a Muslim king who mocked his faith. What can you do? The king demanded. The priest answered, I can make God appear right here. Right now, under threat of death, he celebrated Mass with total faith. At the elevation, the host transformed visibly into the Christ child, The king and his entire court fell to their knees, and that ruler was converted that very day. Across every century, every culture, every witness, the message never changes. O single must lived with faith holds more power than every empire the world has ever known. It frees souls from purgatory. It restrains God's justice. It pours grace on the living and hope on the dying. This is not legend. This is the unbroken teaching of saints, mystics, and the Church herself, echoing one glorious truth. So the next time you walk into Mass, remember, heaven opens, angels kneel, and Christ himself steps onto that altar for you, and our Holy Mother is kneeling to the right of the altar. Arrive early. Quiet your heart. Watch with new eyes. This is not an obligation to endure. It is the greatest miracle on earth, offered freely, every single day. If this truth moved you, share it, subscribe, and never let another Sunday pass you by unaware of the glory waiting at the altar. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to Holy Defenders and help us grow this Catholic apologetics channel. Leave us your comments. What surprises you most about the Holy Mass? You can also leave us a prayer. Share and hit the bell to be notified of new videos each week. May God bless you, and may our Blessed Mother cover you with her mantle.